I'm unmuted now. So 1 minute, we'll start the meeting. Oh, I got to grab a pen. I'll be right back.
Progress.
Is that me or him? Oh, there.
Chair is so low to the ground. I feel like I'm in the garden here. All right, folks, let's call this meeting to order. I'll take roll call. Martin? Moss? Councilman Moss? Oh, I hear somebody. Walter, if you're there, it's really quiet. Let me turn up my volume and see if that makes, no, I'm up all the way. Evans. Here. Smith.
Here.
Thank you. Nelson. Nelson. Hunt.
Here.
Thank you. Ratliff
Present.
and Campbell. We have 5 present. That's a quorum. We can proceed. Before we vote on approval of the October 13 agenda, I would like a motion to make the following changes, and I'll explain why. The issue we discussed at our last meeting about having these hearings to get these derelict buildings torn down. To have these hearings, I procedurally, I need a building commissioner in place. My intention is to appoint Chief Hall as our building commissioner. I can only do that with the approval of the council. So the other thing is we've got as item number 7, approval of the 2021-22 city budget. Angela Dorn's on this call, and I would rather her not wait till the end of the meeting to address this issue. So I'd like to put it as the first item of discussion, if nobody objects to that. So if I could have a motion to amend the agenda to add the appointment of a building commissioner and to move item 7 to item number 3, I would appreciate that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by
I have
Tony
a question.
Evans.
I have
Yes,
a
sir.
question. Is Mark Hall gonna be paid additional money to be the commissioner? Because he
I had
should.
not intended to do that. No, he could do that as part of his additional duties. It won't require that much.
What additional duties is it?
He'll have to attend the 2 hearings we're gonna have to have these buildings torn down. I was advised by Brayman that I have to have a building commissioner in place to proceed with these hearings. It's a procedural issue.
I think is that the chief should be compensated for whatever time he has or whatever he does. I would like to see if the council feels the same way. I mean, still he has to, you're saying it's 2, but it may be more buildings down the line throughout the year. So this could come out to be in a big duty that he has to do for the rest of the year that he should be compensated for.
You said personnel issue. Can't talk about it.
Right. Now, if we're getting into compensation, it's a personnel issue and we can discuss that in closed session.
Then maybe we need to move this in closed session.
Well, the appointment doesn't need to be in closed session, but if you're going to discuss compensation, we can have that after the fact. He can still be our commissioner. We'll discuss compensation in a closed session meeting.
Okay. Can we schedule it?
I have a motion on the floor by Evans. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Campbell. All in favor? Any opposed?
I oppose.
The ayes have it. Moving on. So we've amended the agenda is what we've done. So let's move forward with the ordinance to approve the 21-22 budget. Is Angela Dorn present, please?
Yes, Mark, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
good. Thank
I
you,
was
thank you.
muted.
Does anybody have any questions for Angela on this budget that she can address? Concerns, recommendations?
This is Councilmember Maurice Hunt. The last time we talked, there was some talk of giving raises to certain individuals, something about $90-some thousand being moved over for that.
Yes, that was moved into Public Works and it's reflected in the budget. I did not address raises to specific individuals. We put it in the Public Works budget as payroll and didn't discuss individuals on those raises. But the money is there.
So how much?
I mean, but it's raises and it's not for individuals. So it's for the whole department in Public Works, or is it spread it to more individuals that's in the city that works for the city of Normandy?
Again, if we're going to talk about raises for specific individuals, it's a
Well-
personnel issue. I will tell you, I put a fair raise. You can look at the numbers and see the difference in salary. You can look at those numbers.
So can we discuss how much was put into the public?
Sure, Angela, do you have those numbers in front of you? I'm gonna look for them myself. Public Works salaries. So estimated,
So the public works salaries are at 209,000 and the prior budget before was $140,000. That's what your budget was for 2020. And
yeah,
so that's been raised to
Repeat.
209,000.
From
for
what-
the
what was
salary
that, Angela?
portion.
From 149?
144.25 to 209,360, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Angela, this is Maurice Hunt.
Mhm.
Is the payroll increases to add more manpower or to give the small amount of group of guys raises? Because I thought that we needed more manpower in Public Works.
well, I think there's some
Personnel.
positions that are currently empty, but I mean, this was to bring up some of the salaries in public works to fair compensation.
Okay, so this is not including the police department or any other departments for its courts or housing or clerks. It's just Public Works.
That was the public works portion, yes.
Wouldn't it be usually Normandy only gives a raise across the table to all employees, maybe a 3% to a 5% raise. I've never been part of just individuals just getting raises. We
Well,
have in the past, we have only gave all the way across the table, like a 3% raise
right.
to all employees, right?
I will tell you, if we want to get together and have a meeting to create a pay plan, which we don't have in our city, that would be a really good thing to do. I've always opposed across the board percent raises, because what it does is it takes the people that are making the most and giving them the highest raise, and the people that are making the least get the small raise, and the disparity grows and grows. I've always thought flat dollar amounts were a better approach to go.
I think so too. And, and then at one time, we always said we took money out of the public works budget. So this is a way to put that money back in, right?
It should be significant. Now,
Exactly.
I will tell you, my plan is to put the public works at director's job, combine that with the city administrator. We don't need a public works director to oversee a crew of, after we get sanitation hired out, we're gonna have probably 4 people and then summer help. What I would like to do with those same dollars is hire a really skilled mechanic and a crew lead that could run that crew, and then the job of budgeting, looking for grants, getting estimates on work that we're not capable of doing, like street repairs and maintaining the natural bridge corridor. That would be under the city administrator to do that. And the public works supervisor won't be an appointed position. He can manage the crew, fix our equipment, and it's going to take a good salary to get somebody with some talent. You know, right now, like I explained before, every time, if I have a leaky toilet, I have to call a plumber because we don't have that skill set at Public Works. So that would be my intention. Any other questions or concerns? If not, I would entertain a motion to pass bill number 09070. Well, I have to have the first reading. An ordinance approving the 2021-2022 budget for the city of Normandy, Missouri. And to read this a second time, I need a motion, a second, and a vote by the council. It has to be unanimous to have a second reading on the same night. Do I have a motion to approve bill 0907003?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Campbell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Evans. And I'll take a roll call vote. Did Moss join us yet? Evans,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Nelson. Oh, I'm sorry, Nelson's not here. Hunt,
I vote, yes.
Ratliff,
Yes.
and Campbell.
Yes.
Vote is unanimous. We're having the second reading of Bill 0907003, an ordinance approving the 2021-22 budget for the city of Normandy, Missouri. At this time, I need a motion to approve Bill 0907003.
I'll make that.
You didn't give it a second reading.
Oh, I thought I did. Second reading of 0907003, an ordinance approving the 2021-2022 budget for the city of Normandy, Missouri. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve Bill 0907003.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Evans. Second, please.
Second.
We have a second by Campbell. And I'll do a roll call vote again. Evans,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Nelson, I'm sorry, he's not here. Hunt,
Yes.
Ratliff,
Yes.
and Campbell.
Yes.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. Ordinance, this will be ordinance 2021-003. Thank you, Angela, for being on board tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to citizens' comments. My intention was to have this limited to the courtyard bar discussion. There's so few people here. If there's any other issues, we need to keep time in mind, though. Are there any citizens' comments? Come to the podium, state your name and your address, and we'll be happy to hear from you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
My name is Farrell Hinton, and I live at 3505 Arcola, and I'm here tonight to discuss my concerns about the courtyard. I wouldn't call it a bar and grill, I would call it a flood. Because at the end of the night, that's what it looks like. It looks like a flood. Doesn't look like that our neighbors will go there and, you know, patronize a place like that. It's just, it's really scary if you live that close to that establishment where you just really afraid, you know? And so in the beginning, you know, you kind of say, well, it'll, you know, it's new, so it'll settle down a little bit. But it seems to have gotten worse. And so lately I was like, Dad, it's really quiet over there. So I thought maybe, you know, it had settled down some. I had no idea that they didn't have their liquor license. And that's why it was so quiet over there. And I was like, wow, it just feel like peace back in the neighborhood with the place being closed. And I, you know, I would hate for the young lady to lose her business, but I also don't want to lose my life in my own home at the end of the night when they start shooting like you in Beirut somewhere. I've never experienced anything like this over here, and I've been here since 1992. And so I just wish that, you know, you, the city, and the police department would just be a little more coherent to what's really going on with us citizens that live right down there in that little cut. You know, at the end of the night, when they close that bar, I mean, it's like being in Beirut. It really is. I mean, you have to, you know, you can't sit on your front porch, you know, and if you do, you know, all eyes are on you because we live so close to the establishment. And then you see all kinds of things. And then in the evening, when they let out their party, it's supposed to close at 1:30, I assume. I don't get rest until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I work every day. My day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. And if they're partying to 3, that means they're interrupting my rest. And so what I'm saying is that our police department needs to be a little more active when it comes to that club, you know, letting out or dispersing traffic or whatever they need to do when they let out at 1:30. Make sure they clear the lots, and then, you know, they let their balloons out, they're running to our power lines, and that could cause us to have outage. You know, it's just, you know, if you own a business, you just need to be a little more responsible. I know I've owned a business in the past, and it was my responsibility to operate my business in a business sense. So I came up here, you know, I'm tired, but I'm really tired of not being able to sit on my front porch and not having peace in my own home at night because of that courtyard bar. It is terrible.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello?
Hang on, we've got somebody at the podium.
Sure.
Well, I am the owner of the courtyard where I live. And I don't know where exactly you live.
I live where the house is, you bought the kids in.
Yeah,
And the
I
bag.
took bags around, but I apologize if you guys feel
You
that.
said thank you.
That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And I did put on the card that I'm looking for better days because I did present a revamp. I have more security on the lot. And I don't know what day that you say, because we do close at 1:30. The police are out there. They come walk through my bar, and they do come in, and something happens, I do keep the staff there to say, hey, this is how we can fix it. But I have never been over to 3 in the morning because the police are always there. And if I was on there to 3 in the morning, someone would have to speak up and say something because that's going over my, and I've never stayed.
Make sure you keep your comments addressed to the council.
Okay, so,
Thank
but
you.
I've never stayed, but I have done security, I have revamped my security, so I have more security. I have
Excuse
three
me,
security
ma'am.
on the
You
lot.
gotta,
Excuse
you gotta
me,
talk.
you need to.
Oh, I'm
face
sorry, I
the
have
council.
3 security for on the parking lot, so that will limit all of whatever they're saying is outside. I have removed the tables from outside. And I also have put loitering, no trespassing sign that I have, so that there's no commotion outside. About the closing, we do close at 1:30, but I had the police officers, they come around. We do last call at 1 o'clock, we have everybody out there. The plan is for the lots to be totally empty before 2 o'clock. And I had that on my revamp also. That I did security, I put no loitering, no trespassing signs. And I also put more lights and cameras on the lot also. I put one, but it still seems like it's not getting back there by the gate. So I will install another one back there, so it'll be more light and more security on the lot. And I already put another camera in place on the lot also. And it's a motion camera, it's a motion light with a camera on. Now I'll install another one. I put all the signs out and I put extra security out there so that the outside is being maintained way better than possible. That's why I put the bag on everybody's doors. And I put looking forward to better days with the candy, and I put my telephone on. Because I knew nothing about balloons going in anybody's yard, or that's people that's having maybe a repast or a birthday party that's going out, letting them go. I never knew that was going into anyone's yard. So there was something I didn't know it was broke, so I couldn't fix it. So that's why I put the card and my name on it. So if it's a problem like that, something so small, they can contact me directly. They'll know who I am, so we can have better communication.
Thank you.
Because a lot of the problems are something that I never knew about.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, let me ask you a question. What kind of system do you have? Camera system?
I did it.
Vivid?
Mhm.
Okay.
But I had one on the front and in the inside. I didn't have any on the parking
So
lot.
you didn't have any on the backside where the parking lot is?
Exactly. And those are the new ones that I've currently installed. Because there was people over there in the auto mechanic shop and they had their own setup, and all those people in the strip mall are gone. I'm the only one there, so that's why I had to put extra cameras and things out because all their stuff is gone.
I got you.
Now, how many parking spaces are on the lot next to your building?
This one over here by the.
With the iron gate?
It's a good 15 to 17, because I had to actually add the other lines because they were parking how they want to, so somebody came and added the lines, so I don't know the exact number now.
And then, is that the only place where your patrons are allowed to park?
They were parking on my lot and across the street on the Chinese lot, but she gave me a note saying that she wanted $3,000 or something a month for my people to park there, or they would be towed.
So it's just that, those 17 spaces that you have?
Exactly.
So what's the capacity of your
155.
155 people at a time? Where would your patrons park if there's only 17 spaces, 155 people can be in there?
They was parking on O'Reilly's.
No, I'm saying now, where would you expect them to park? Let's say you have a repast, a party, it's a Saturday night, it's ladies' night. Where would they park?
They would park on my lot and O'Reilly's lot. O'Reilly doesn't have a problem with parking. It was just
O'Reilly's
the
actually said that they don't want anybody on their lot after hours. They gave the city a notice a few weeks ago, I believe.
See, well, I never
Yeah.
got it.
So my question is, where would the parking happen?
They would have to park on my lot, and I don't know where because I didn't, that's not in my revamp, because no one told me that they couldn't park on my lot. I just had information they could park on the Chinese people's lot. So I positioned for security to be outside my door, on my lot, and on the O'Reilly's lot. Now, if she's saying O'Reilly doesn't say that, I wasn't told it, so I didn't know.
Yeah, and then the chief actually has that letter. The manager gave it to the clerk, he said a couple of weeks ago. So the chief has a copy of it. But so my other question is, as far as the cleanup, as far as the noise, when we had a discussion in April, when I talked to you and the chief, we sat down and we talked about it. We talked about, more security. We talked about the place being cleaned up. We talked about maybe you changing like the hours of
That's on my revamp.
yeah. So the problem is, after that conversation, it just kind of went awry and everything. Now, I did speak to some other business owners, and they said that they are experiencing some negative effects of the bar. The clientele, the people outside, the look of it. They said that the look of it, and I think you just addressed this with the people outside. They said it doesn't look safe. It doesn't look like it's somewhere that I would.
Yeah, and I explained to them for the past 2 months, my air conditioner was on the roof. I know you heard them, all those people on top of our roof. We had a big roof problem.
But this doesn't, I'm not talking about the roof. I'm just talking about people in front.
No, I'm saying with the people were in front because my bar was hot because all my air conditioning went out from the people working on the roof. So that's what kind of put the people outside, because they were kind of hanging outside like this hot in there. And I didn't have security outside at the time because my security was gone, because you remember me and you talking about security. And the security I had on the lot, he had the lights. And they said he couldn't have the lights. So then when he came back, they said that his company didn't have the qualifications for the lights. So I've been going back and forth with that, but now I have a whole new company.
Well, the conversation, I wish the chief was here. The conversation was actually that the security guard wasn't licensed with the city. So he had to go and pay his $25 and then bring it to the city. It wasn't that, and he said that he could not have a light because it appeared that he was a police officer and no one wanted to give the appearance that this is someone who's a police officer when it's actually not a police officer.
Yeah, because what it is, he had his license for one company that he worked with the license, but he didn't have the one that he needed from me. He had a license, he just didn't have the one that he was supposed to have for me. And then he said if he go get another one, he would be able to be on the lot. He just wasn't aware of it. The chief wasn't aware that I would be having somebody on the lot with lights. And then when I explained it to him, like, well, I don't have anybody on the lot with lights and it's dark, you just have a guy in black jumping out of cars, it kind of didn't look right. So we both agreed together, but then when the guy came back, he still didn't have the right certification. So I just went with a whole new company. But it took me time to go back and forth because I had to get the police's help because I didn't actually know what certification he needed because he came back. So I got with the police and St. Louis County came and showed him what exactly he needed. And I'm like, well, he still doesn't have this. So I just went with a whole nother company.
And then what kind of events do you have?
I have bands, I have ladies night, I have karaoke. I have game night. And then I just have the hip night on Fridays and Saturdays.
And it's a bar and grill.
Yes, I have a full menu.
And do you have dance floor?
Yes, ma'am.
So would that constitute a club?
No,
No.
this bar, because I didn't put the dance floor there.
But you don't have tables on the area that's like open on the side?
Yes, ma'am, I have tables.
But it's not like, there's space for people to dance. to,
Yes,
you're
yes,
saying.
yes, yes,
Do you have a DJ also?
yes.
Do you have live bands?
Yes.
Nice setup. And hookah, right?
Yes, sir. And I also put on my revamp because they say in the night with the late closing. From Sunday to Thursday, I was willing to close at 12 o'clock and then close at 1 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. So that people wouldn't say, well, hey, it's a 2, 3 o'clock because that's not true. The police come every time at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't really know. Well, the chief isn't here, but I know like when they get, I know that there have been issues with the policing because they're short staffed. So we have a shortage and, you know, you having security would be,
Yeah,
for that reason would be
3
better,
of
but
them,
when they get a
and now I
call,
went from 3 to 6.
yeah, when they get a call, they have to just leave.
Right.
So that was, yeah, that was.
And that was just me asking them for help and us working together. It
Yeah.
wasn't an obligation. It was just, I was just saying, hey, this is what I have going on. I was just asking for help. They
Yeah.
never, it wasn't nothing set in stone to where they were obligated to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
You said your establishment is bar and grill. Would you consider it a club if you had live bands and dancing and, I mean, because when you go to most bar and grills, there's not really a dance floor and, you know, I'm trying, what do you consider your club as? Is it a club or a bar and grill?
A bar and grill.
Okay. So is it being operated as a club, as a nightclub, or
No.
a bar and grill?
A bar
Okay,
and grill. I can say 75% of the people that come there, they eat.
okay,
75% of the people come, they eat. But just people, when they eat, they want to have a drink too.
I got you.
But that's why I only have hip hop nights for Friday and Saturday. All my other nights are designated for game night, Taco Tuesday, karaoke night. I have the other nights designated.
Okay, would you say most of the problems happen on Friday and Saturdays when it's hip hop night?
I can say it's a lot of things that may go outside that I have no control over. And so that's why I said that I revamp and put more security outside. Focus on more outside than inside because I'm really not having a lot of problems inside.
Okay,
It's what's going on outside. So that's why I say if I put more lights and more force out there, then maybe that will help. So like she said, the police not obligated to be there. So they say it's most of the time they just see no one monitoring or like they say the age group. So that's why I revamped it and took the age group of women 25 and 30. And I got with my security to reinforce that age to make sure that that's the age group that comes in. So I think with the security and the different age group, then I should be able to be successful. And we also said that we could even revamp this and you guys let me try to revamp and we come back here in 3 months and I get an opinion and say, hey, you're doing good or it's still looking good. You know what I'm saying? So I get to a point where everybody is happy with me.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else from, go ahead. State your name and
Oh, I
address.
think the man on.
Oh, I'm gonna get to the Zoom listeners second. I can see who's here, and then we'll open it up to the people on Zoom who want to comment.
I just had this is about the Bar and Grill. I'm Becky Harrington, 7714 Augusta. I guess my concern is that there have already been multiple shootings outside the bar, and just because it doesn't happen inside the bar doesn't mean it doesn't start inside the bar and come to the outside. And will 3 months, how many more shootings are gonna occur in that 3-month period? So do we put people who live directly behind the bar in jeopardy to see how it goes in 3 months? Or do we adjust something as far as maybe business hours or having to get permits for live bands or something? I don't know. There's probably a solution. I hate to say we should not encourage business, but I also hate to say that we should wait to see if things get better, if there's not a solution moving forward, I guess. And that's
Thank you.
Was it discussed at one time, the hours were being reduced to 12 o'clock? She said something about 12 o'clock.
Well, my intention is to hear from the citizens,
Mhm.
let everybody digest
Okay.
that and have a conversation on at our November meeting and
Okay.
then take a vote.
I got you.
I think some time for some suggestions and ideas and let it percolate a little bit.
Yeah,
is-
because, you know, since it's my ward, it's
Yeah.
my ward, I'm trying to catch up. And I've been by your place a few times. You know, you just don't recognize, but I have been in there. So just stopping by.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mike Sappington, 7725 Circle Drive, 3rd Ward. I want you to know I rushed up here today to be at the meeting because it was a city council meeting. And I want to thank Councilman Campbell, Councilman Evans for being here tonight. But once again, I am appalled by the fact that the other 6 councilmen in this community are not here, are being paid to do a job, and they're never here. And you know, I stopped tonight as I was sitting here thinking that this is a form of cancer. And this cancer in this council was started by, sadly enough, by the 3rd Ward Councilman Hunt. Because since Hunt became the pro tem of this council, that things have just deteriorated to the worst. And I'm thinking in mind about that because over the last few days, an NFL, former NFL manager has been relieved for things he said in an email, for things he said discouraging. There's a multimillionaire, one of the top football managers in the NFL, and he was relieved for something he said several years ago. And we have a councilman that's on this council right now that said some of the most atrocious statements made by anybody. I mean, he's the first Black racist I ever heard. My wife, who's an immigrant and is also a minority, was shocked to think that her city council person, who's now the mayor pro tem at that time, had made those kind of statements. Yet where is this powerful leader, this guy that objects to everything? How come he fails to show his face at the meeting to the citizens he represents here in the 3rd Ward? That's what I am so curious to find out again. Why that man is not here and why we have to listen to him bellow over the Zoom meetings. Yet he has no problem flourishing through the community in his multiple trucks that we get to see him go by and roll through the signs on. That's totally acceptable. But doing his diligence, which is representing us citizens in the 3rd world, him and his compadre, Nelson, and then of course, where are the other folks? They're on Zoom. Isn't that wonderful? Hey, they
What
should be
does
here
this
to
have to
represent
do
us, and
with
it's
the
offensive to us
courtyard?
citizens. And I hope every citizen that's on this tonight makes a comment to show up here next time and ask, where are they again? Hunt.
Thank you, Michael. Anybody now, if you want to be recognized, I'm going to have to see a face on Zoom and identify yourself. Anybody out there want to make a comment?
I would like to make a comment, but I am not, I'm on my cell phone, on my mobile device. I just got off work not long ago. My name is Alex Word. I stay in the house at 3507 Arcola, right
Okay.
next to the lounge.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. All right. First thing, I heard the language, the descriptions, whether it's a club, it's a bar, it's a lounge, you know. Only thing I know is what I see and what I hear. I've been there for over 20 years on Arcola. Now, thank God that we have a fence up there, a gate up there, because I know what would happen if that was not there. We'd be getting people parked right in front of my home. There would be a lot of other activity, people urinating in my driveway and different things like this. And what I would like to ask the owner, excuse me, after I finish with my statement is how would she feel if she stayed next to a bar, club, lounge, and with the type of activity that you're hearing? How would you feel if that was going on if you live next door? If you have grandkids, kids, there may be late night pickups from a daughter to pick her kids up if we're watching them. You know, they may hear this type of activity. There may be gunshots and these different things like that. So how would you feel about that? Would you actually live at a place next to a club? Now, the thing is, there have been many nights. I can't pinpoint a particular night. I know it's been Saturdays. I know it's been Fridays. I know there have been weekdays that there's been a lot of noise on a lot. There's been yelling. There's been cursing. There's been fighting. I've had to clean up busted bottles that have been thrown over the gate, right in front of my car. And if I had not seen any of that stuff, my wife, as she's backing out, or as I'm moving, either one of us could have caught a flat tire or whatever. But there's a lot of things going on over there that's really alarming, you know, and it's scary. I heard people yelling and screaming like crazy, and I've actually heard gunshots as well. And one time I actually stepped on my front porch, and across the street, right over there at the O'Reilly's lot, I saw a guy pull a gun out and he shot up in the air a few times. And sometimes the police, they're not there on time. They don't come quickly. And so this stuff will carry on for a long time. My wife and I, we're disturbed when we hear this. We can't sleep. Many times I have my window down, the air conditioning may be going in the summertime, and I'm still hearing the noise. So it's a lot going on. In the last meeting, I think I heard the owner speak about the possibility of some security, even armed security. And my thing is, with what's going on these days, especially these days, there are men and women of a certain age group, they shoot. They shoot anybody, whether it's police or whether it's security guards or whatever, they shoot. And so that's a lot of activity that's going on that I don't like. I've seen it before. I've lost a brother to violence, and I've seen all these different things. So this is what I'm seeing and hearing at the club over there. And so, you know, what do? We just sit back and just watch, call the police every so often. At some point in time, you get tired of calling the police if nothing's really going on. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see my property damaged. I'm certainly tired of hearing all the garbage that I hear on that lot. It was just about almost every night. You know,
Thank you, sir.
What do you do?
I appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Sir. Anyone else on the Zoom call that wants to make a comment?
And
Yes,
I would like that to be addressed too, please. I would like that to be addressed.
Yes.
Yes,
Identify
this is-
yourself, your name and address, please.
yes, Kimberly Moore, 7832 Skyview. Good evening to everyone. Just in reference to the club, we were speaking to a few residents that live over there. And one thing that a lot of us longtime residents have noticed is that there have been several other lounges and restaurants that have been in that same location for years and years. And we've never had these issues happen before. And I don't know if anyone is monitoring the chat either from this evening or last week, but there are residents that are also saying they've seen bullet casings in front of their home, urinating in adjacent parking lots, people having sex in vehicles. So while I applaud the young lady for getting cameras, that doesn't do too much. There definitely needs to be security. And now what I hear that is going to be a catalyst to additional problems is you only have 17 parking spots and a capacity of over 150. Where are all those overflow people going to go? Because it's gotten to the point where you've alienated not only the residents, but fellow business owners that have been in Normandy for years and years. No one wants you on their lot. They don't want your patrons on their lot. So if you only have 17 spots, where are all these people going to go? And again, with the pandemic we've all been in, everyone is stretched thin. The Normandy police are stretched thin. And I can speak as a resident, I would rather them be patrolling our neighborhoods, driving by, taking care of us, not picking up trash or patrolling clubs. So I just don't want the onus and responsibility to be for Normandy police to be there policing a club. This is the owner's responsibility. And there's an old adage that says, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So knowing that you only had 17 spots, it feels like you just assumed your people could park wherever they wanted to. And now because of their behavior or because of a lack of supervision from the owners, that's off the table now. So please address that also. Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Anyone else before we move on?
I have some comments from some citizens. They emailed me. This is from Debbie and Chuck Russo at 7216 Normandy Place. It says, we attended the October 5th, 2021 council meeting and heard Ms. Tamika's presentation, who is the owner of the Courtyard Bar and Grill. We heard no apology to our residents whose safety and peace have been affected by ongoing disruptions caused by its customers. Many of the Courtyard Bar and Grill neighboring businesses have been located in our city for many years. And for them to have to deal with the use of their parking lots by another business without permission indicates to us that Ms. Tamika needs to relocate where she will have parking available to offer her customers. We do not feel that it's the responsibility of the city to help someone establish a business. There are local nonprofits that offer this service and no connection with them has been reported during Ms. Tamika's presentation. The lack of her preparation of establishing her business should not be at the expense of our city's reputation. Our residents' lives are being disrupted. And this is from 7268 Normandy Place. This is from Daisy Lomax. Good evening, Yolanda. I wanted to express my concerns about issues in the neighborhood. The Courtyard Bar and Grill, the lingering around of the patrons after hours, the noise violation, loitering, and drunk driving. These are major concerns that affect our entire Normandy community. This is a friendly family atmosphere, and we want to maintain and keep it that way. Also, all the tree limbs due to the storm are creating rodents in our environment. We need that to be picked up. Our community has never looked like this before. I want to see changes, and we would like to see them as soon as possible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. What I'm gonna suggest is again, consider the comments of both Ms. Renfro and the citizens, and we're going to dedicate some time to the regular meeting in November to discuss this issue. There, Ms. Renfro did submit an application for a liquor license. We've got it's going to be considered, but there are some options. It can be conditional. We can talk about closing time. I think that the parking issue is certainly going to have to be addressed. And that's a conversation you're going to have with O'Reilly and come up with some resolution on that, because those numbers don't fit and it's going to be a problem. But at any rate,
I have
this issue,
something. I'm
who is
sorry.
this, please?
I own a business across the street at
You need
70.
to identify yourself, please.
Just give your-
My
sorry.
name is Kay. I own a business across the street at 7318 Florissant Road. The only thing I've experienced is the urination in front of my business. The parking, my landlord did put up signs saying no parking over there, but yet people tend to park there. And me and the other citizens there, we close before dusk because we don't want to be, we a day business, but we tend to open until 7 o'clock, but in the wintertime, we close early because we just don't want to have the run-in. But yeah, the parking issues and taking up the parking space on our lot. And even though my landlord, which is Terry Gannon, did put up signs out there saying the vehicles will be towed. But if we're not there while they're parking there, we don't know. But when we come back in the morning time, it's urination, it's, it's bad because now it affect my business. So when my customers come, it just smell like we've been doing it. And I've been working, throwing bleach. I talked to my landlord about it, trying to get the smell out and everything. So I can't verify, but we are having cameras installed there as well. And they're gonna cover like every inch. So if there's any thing on the lot or anything, we will definitely know about it, and we will call tow truck and have them removed in the middle of the night or whenever they let out or whatever. Or see who is urinating in front of the building and doing all the other stuff and the trash and all of that stuff. So yeah, and I see a lady walk around on the weekends on Saturdays and pick up all the garbage and do all of that stuff, just try to keep the place clean. But yeah, that's the only concern I have when it comes to my business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, some resolution is going to be made at the November meeting. We've got options to consider. You've got some homework to do, Ms. Renfrew, about the parking. And if I could have answers on that prior to that November meeting, it would be helpful.
Can we get a copy of the revamp?
Yes, you may. I'll get copies of that to everybody. Moving on, we've got a new business license application for our Humble Haven Care Service. It's three employees working Monday through Thursday, 10 to 3. It's strictly office work, phone service. They're a home health care business, and the office is going to be used for scheduling. There's no healthcare provided at this location. It's strictly office space and scheduling. Everybody should have a copy of that. Are there any questions about this application? No patients, no customers. They've listed on page 2 the names of the folks that are going to be working there, and parking won't be an issue. There's adequate parking there. Any questions or comments?
No.
Somebody on the council had a question?
I didn't. This is Councilwoman Smith. I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. If not, I'd like a motion to approve the business application for Humble Haven Care Services.
I approve a motion for Humble Haven Home
Thank
Care
you.
Services. Mhm.
Motion by Smith. Do I have a second? Second by Evans. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Let me get back to the CDB resolution, which I need to find. A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Normandy, Missouri to execute the fiscal year 2022 municipal application for the Community Development Block Grant funding with St. Louis County with regard to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. What we agreed to at a last meeting was dedicate $60,000 for the demolition of the derelict properties, and I've listed them. 5313 Olean, 5919 Brand, and 5507 Holborn. The balance of the funding will be used for home repairs for citizens who apply and qualify. We will have to set up those parameters, but this is sufficient for the application. What this does is gives me the authority to execute the application for the funds for this $66,000 that comes after January of next year. Any questions on what this is or comments? If not, I need a motion to,
And of course.
go ahead, Tony.
Of course, it should go out to bid, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the bidding process.
Oh,
We're just dedicating the dollars.
Yes.
Yeah, we still have to go through the whole bid process with this, yes.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, anybody else? Looking for a motion to approve resolution 21-01.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Evans. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell. All in favor? All in favor of the motion to
Oh,
pass?
aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right. I think we've gotten through the entire agenda.
Can you just give an update as far as the Courtyard Bar and Grill? What is to happen so the citizens are aware of what is?
Well, here's what's going to happen. There's an application to renew that liquor license. Without it, they can't operate. Between now and our
She
November,
can't- But she can't, she can serve food, right?
right, she can still serve food. She's open for business so that people are aware. And if you want to tell me your hours for business with your grill, I'd be happy to tell everybody that's on Zoom right now. Okay, yeah, she is serving food. November meeting, which is the first Tuesday of November, this issue is going to be brought to the council. We're going to have a conversation as to remedy. And again, there's going to be options. There's some legal implications that need to be discussed. And some kind of resolution will be made at that meeting.
Hello, Mayor.
Yes, who is this?
I'm sorry. This is Kimberly Moore again on Skype. I just have a quick question. So since her liquor license is not active right now, and she can still serve food, is there also a contingency that this does not imply BYOB, bring your own booze?
That
Because
will not be, yeah, that was
Okay.
addressed and that will not be allowed.
okay, awesome. We don't want anything
Yeah,
slick
right,
going on.
right,
Thank you.
right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with the agenda, there are some issues that we need to discuss in closed session. There's a personnel issue, a contract negotiation, and a legal issue. If I could have a motion to go into closed session, and I need it to state to discuss a personnel issue, a contract negotiation, and a legal issue. Can I have that motion?
Before the motion is put on the floor, I'd like to ask Mr. Gray for his opinion.
Sure, go ahead. Mr. Gray, are you there?
I am here. The opinion regarding,
The Courtyard Bar and Grill.
Well,
well, the process is being followed, and it sounds like an issue that will be brought up at the next board meeting for action. And that is proper.
Thank you.
are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Again, we have a personnel issue, a contract negotiation that needs to be discussed, and a legal issue that needs to be addressed. If I can have a motion to go into closed session to discuss a personnel issue, a contract negotiation, and a legal issue.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Evans. Do I have a second?
Second.
Evans,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Nels, Hunt,
Yes.
Ratliff,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Ayes have it. Chief Hall, are you on board here? Are you with us?
The chief's been on.
I am, sir. Okay, good. Stay with us, please, for the first part of this closed session. Thank you. I'll have to ask everybody to be excused from the meeting.
Bye.
Thank
And-
you,
and-
Mayor. Thank you,
Thanks for
Council,
showing
Thank you,
for
everyone.
showing up tonight. Doing a
Thank
good
you.
job and serving your community.
Thank you.